Very good evening, everyone, and welcome to Masters SA. Welcome to my co-hosts, Sean Peters and Aaron Burrell.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to race number 6, an exciting one, Makuru Islands. We're going to go on to our technical advisor out in London, Aaron Burrell. Welcome on board Makuru Islands. I think you just rode it just for the fun of it. How was that?
Yeah, well, hey Corvus, hey Sean, good to see you guys. It's good to be sitting in a chair this week.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving us the live view last week. That was fun.
I won't lie, that was hard. I think commentating and riding at the same time costs you at least 50 watts. That's what
definitely. You wouldn't have gotten dropped on that second to last lap.
Listen to the excuses coming through.
But I must say that I would do last week's Innsbruck ring and the leg snapper over and over and over compared to what these guys are about to endure. Makuru Islands at Japan World launched probably about a month ago, and this particular course, the Chain Chomper, it's called the Chain Chomper for a reason, because that's literally what the guys are going to be doing. They're going to be grinding their drivetrains to a halt today. The start, they've probably got around 1-2 Ks before the first climb starts. What's very interesting about this particular course is that although Zwift has classified this as 2 climbs, it's actually 1. There's a little intermediate section that joins the 2 together. So they've got the initial climb, which is the Castle Comb, followed by the Temple Comb, which is a gravel climb. Absolutely brutal. There's variable step-ups and gradient changes. It's going to be interesting to see what bike choices the guys do go with today. We have sort of spoken ad nauseum about bike changes and the possible strategies involved with that. But today, I don't think we're going to see many guys switch to mountain bikes or even gravel bike offerings. But
I actually saw a couple of mountain bikes on the starting line here. Interestingly, guys, if you're listening, I don't think that's a good choice.
Not a wise choice, just because the first climb is made up of tar. There's a little bit of if we look at the first climb just in a little bit of detail just before the guys start. The first climb, the initial slopes are not hard at all. It's quite draftable. Once the guys turn right onto the wooden bridge, right after the wooden bridge is going to kick up massively, 5-6%. It pitches in 8 at some points. The precursor to the end is the stone section or the stone sort of ground. Once you hit that, it's probably only around 900 meters to the end. So you can maybe use those as reference points or markings. So just remember there's going to be a wooden bridge section, which signals the start of the climb proper. There's going to be a stone ground section, which shows you that you're near the end of the climb. There's going to be an intermediate sort of tar section, which takes you to the Temple Comb, which is dirt. It's gravel the whole way. And then obviously the guys descend all the way down again. They're going to come back into the start area and do this another 2 times.
Yeah. 2 minutes on the clock, guys. 2 minutes on the clock. Some great racing underway very shortly. Sprint sections, 13.5 kilometers, 27 and 40.5. What's that like? Have we got any names that are going to stand out for you, Aaron?
For the sprints or these comms? I mean,
for sprint and comms, what are we looking like? Any callers that you would like to call straight away?
Well, look, I mean, we can't ignore the one rider in particular has just been showing everyone up, if you want to call it that, or just sort of coming into his own. And Valdez Evenster has been proving everyone wrong. Yeah. The last probably 4 weeks in a row, he's been picking up the sprint points. I'd like to see him do it again, particularly on a course like this, which is obviously riddled in tough gradients. It'll be nice for the big boys to just lay down some pain on their sprints. We know from experience it's the fastest time across that from across those 2 points.
Those segments, yeah. Well, to all the folks that have joined us, sorry, Cobus, just before we get started, if there are anyone from abroad watching, good evening, welcome to it. It's a Wednesday evening, and I'm going to let Cobus take over from here.
Oh, no, not at all. I was just going to chirp in and say, guys, even though Voldy did post the best times, I'm not sure he took we obviously have multiple laps. Last week we had 4 of them, in fact, and 5, and he didn't take all of those. I think he took
Tiens.
twice.
Tiens take a few, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Tiens took a couple, and then second through third, we had some of the back markers actually targeting those segments in particular. So I guess it makes something else to race for if you're not with the lead group. Johan de Vet and Jacques Hubert, they both did very well. Collecting 2 second places.
Well, the boys are off now.
Yeah,
There we go.
Boys and girls are off. The start is going to be very important. You want to be in the front half, going into the initial slopes of the climb. And I'm under the impression that this course here we're going to see a lot of similarities to what we saw in the Surrey Hills race with Box Hill. So there's going to be a selection that is going to whittle down as we go through each lap. We know that we got the usual suspects here. So Eddie and Gustavo are obviously going to be jostling head to head to gain a clear advantage over each other. Who that's going to be, I think we can maybe leave that for lap 2, Sean. I know you enjoy calling that one. But let's just see what plays out on the first lap. It's going to be very interesting to see what tactics are employed now, and just how much the guys can benefit from the draft in these early stages of the race.
In fact, you just took my next question out. We spoke about it off air. You just did this course probably about an hour or so ago. How important is that draft on this initial climb? Remember, folks, it is a continuous climb, as Aaron alluded to a little while ago. But how important is that draft on this initial climb?
Well, this first section, it's just going to allow the guys just to save a little bit of energy, also consolidate their position in the bunch. And you've also got to remember that the draft is in play probably for gradients 4% or less. So even if the gradient's up to 3%, there will still be a bit of a draft effect. But as soon as the guys pass that wooden bridge, they're on their own. That's going to be brute power.
Well, then it's quite an interesting one coming from that. Who do we think is going to have that brute power?
We've seen in the last few weeks just what Gustavo Aquino is capable of. He's not afraid to go off the front. He's not afraid to attack. We're probably going to see that. It's a pattern we've seen played out now for a while. He's going to be marked clearly. Eddie's going to cover that move without a doubt. He wants to consolidate his position not only in the South African leaders jersey, but overall. He's going to want the overall as well.
Yeah.
Gustavo is a long-time rival, and he obviously always wants to one-up him. But I would like to see a little bit more guys sort of challenge those two this week, and the next few races. We know the Real T Dynamic squad is it's laden with powerhouses. Are we going to see David Garrett come to the fore? Tiens van der Bank, we know what he was doing last year. Christian Janssen van Rensburg coming off fantastic form out in the real world. I'd love to see those guys mix it up, even just take the race away, animate it. But we want to see some new names here.
I was just about to say that was my next. I was going to go into that now. Real T Dynamics, the guys that dominated last year, would be great to see them get up in the mix and give these two guys a bit of a go. And of course, keeping it local, keeping the SA guys up in the front there. I know Eddie Hull's a local rider, but it would be nice to see some of the Cape Townian boys that we see on the weekends when we are racing to get up there and mix it up with the batch.
It'd be nice to see all of our SA champions feature.
Yeah, 100%.
If Tiens would focus on climbing now, not wanting to be a sprinter, we'd probably see a beautiful display of riding. The guy has an innate ability to switch, specialities.
And again, very briefly after last week, and then again, spending some time on the Elite and on Zwift, the last couple of days. It's always easier said than done, especially to viewers that may be joining us for the first time. It all looks like jolly fun, but trust me, It is not an easy thing to do. Zwift is tricky. You've got to actually put in a lot of effort. There's no free miles in one of the circuits, and especially not here.
Exactly. I mean, if we could see, what the guys look like on Zwift to what they actually look like at home suffering, it's chalk and cheese. There's going to be a lot of pain faces that we don't actually see. It's not pretty, I can tell you that.
Well, we did have a glimpse of you last week, suffering it up.
No, it was beautiful. It was absolutely.
Didn't feel beautiful, not at all.
Didn't look like it felt beautiful.
Eddie has attacked, guys. He's putting in a 7.3 watt per kilogram attack. This is the way he rides. It's his natural game, so to speak. He likes taking the race, from the front, leading from the front. And this might just be a statement he's making, not just to the guys behind him, but to Gustavo as well. It's like, yeah, Gustavo, here I am. Do you want to come get it? Do you want the win? Well, here it is. Come chase me.
And very early on we're 15 minutes in, 5 minutes in to what is 3 laps of the chain chomper.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one, Sean. This is going to be a long race. Definitely over an hour, I think. But I'll, correct me if I'm wrong, but let's see what time the guys pull on lap 1, and then we can obviously multiply that and see what time we're going to do.
Yeah.
But there's so much climbing. I don't see this being finished in under an hour, personally.
What was that total climb, by the way? Just if anyone's just joined us, and a warm welcome if you have just joined us. What is that total climb, Aaron? Or maybe if we can bring up that.
It's 184 meters of elevation gain. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just the changes in pitch takes a lot out of the legs. And then once they hit the gravel as well, there's that added built-in programmed resistance, which will drop the speeds quite significantly as well.
100%. So again, if you're looking in on the stream, folks, it doesn't look like a lot, but let me tell you, especially if the guys on a well-balanced trainer like the Elite trainer, you pick up that resistance, it pulls you back very quickly. You feel it in your legs, and I think in lap 2 to 3, trust me, it's gonna burn like hell going up there.
So is that per lap, Aaron?
That's per lap, yeah. That's 184 per lap.
So that's still a decent amount for 1 hour of racing.
We'll be just under 600 meters of climbing.
It's huge. Sorry, I was grabbing for the calculator there. Thanks. Thanks.
What did the guys do on the Ventoux today?
That was a completely different animal altogether.
Did anyone call that today?
I didn't think Wout van Aert would win it, to be honest.
No, never.
But the guys did almost bring him back at the end.
Yes.
Guys, this is that stone sort of road section I was talking about. This is going to take them to the top, and they're actually flying up here today. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they get to the top in under 4 minutes. This is probably, both these climbs you can probably liken in terms of elapsed time to something like the Titans Grove Comp. So you're probably going to see 4 minutes or just under. And then maybe as each lap goes by, you can add an extra 10, 20 seconds to that, because obviously fatigue is a factor as well.
Yeah. I mean, just look at that 374 watts, what is ranging between sort of 300 to about the 360 mark, depending. And that's continuous, folks. You gotta really know what you're doing there.
Well, he bagged the points. Here comes Gustavo with a counter.
He got the castle com.
This is very clever riding by Eddie. He's bagging sort of com points, and now he's going to sit in a bit, use a bit of draft. They're going to hit the gravel, and I'm sure he's going to unload again. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a this course, we haven't raced it before, so no one really knows what to expect. No one really knows, how it's going to pan out. I spoke previously about those reference points. It's very important that the guys, if they are able to ride the course before, just have a look at sections that they can use to sort of spur themselves on or gauge where they are within the course. It does really help, especially if you're trying to pace or measure your effort.
Just looking over at today's course from the Tour de France, that peak at 1910, so 1,910 meters of climbing.
Sean, that was I think that was the peak elevation. They did 4,500 meters of climbing in 198 Ks.
Well, they did do the ascent twice from both the Bedouin side, which is the more legendary side, where Armstrong raced Pantani, and probably the greatest ascent in Tour de France history, as it seems people are doing U-turns.
What is going on now? Sorry, Quibus.
I see Peter Avenant was saying Zwift has been buggy the last couple of days.
I think they've actually tried to program that woman with the sign.
Oh, is that what's happened?
I think that's caused
right.
Oppie
Omi, that's what caused that.
That's it. I think it was an Oppie Omi moment happening, yeah.
That looked like race 2 last night. There was a turn 1 incident. It looked exactly the same, and somehow there was choice words coming out of one of the microphones. It was absolute gold for entertainment value.
See, that's why we can't have the guys on live. We know you can handle it, Aaron, but Facebook's terms of service are very strict in terms of language.
Using those words. Well, okay, so on the dirt now, if you've just joined us, it is a bit of a calf burner being out on that gravel. There is resistance on it, so it looks like gameplay at the moment. But trust me, when you're out in the real on the trainer itself, on the smart trainer, it's adding resistance. You can feel that.
You can see already how the speed has dropped. I mean, Eddie was doing over 30 k's an hour on sort of the solid tarmac. He's now on the gravel, and it's ranging between 18 and 23 k's an hour, and it's it just depends where he is on the climb, because as I mentioned, the gradient is variable and it switches up and kicks up in various places, quite steep actually.
And emulating real life situation when you're out. I mean, we know coming from mountain biking, we know what that feels like.
Yeah, I mean,
those all kickers.
Yeah, Zwift is just all about power. I mean, you can't brake, you can't steer, so you don't have those in real life dynamics.
Yeah, you got that. Yeah.
There's real life dynamics where you'll get a rider who might not produce the power that some other riders do, but they're so technically astute and gifted that they can stay within the bunch and actually excel because of their superior handling. But a platform such as Zwift allows certain riders maybe who aren't that gifted when it comes to handling ability to shine.
Yeah.
But obviously you get those riders who can do everything. One of those riders being Mr. Donovan Lecoq. He's one of those guys who can sort of turn it up. But yeah, I mean, what we've seen here from Eddie, what did we say a few minutes ago? Eddie Hull, Gustavo Aquino, they're going to be challenging each other, and this is what we've seen.
I don't think they're trying to get away, though. I think this is about the comp.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I would speculate, at least.
Well, nice to see Janssen van Rensburg lying at third there. We were just chatting about them earlier. Nice to get them back into the mix. Look, I mean, Aaron, something we might not have mentioned prior to this is that they had come off quite a hectic season of Killarney every Thursday, straight into Western Province. There was SA Champs in the mix, and they've got this. Yeah, there could be a bit of tired legs, a bit of tired personalities. The guys are broken. I mean, it's sometimes the body does need a little bit of a rest. So maybe not performing to their optimum.
Apologies, Aaron, but definitely that was their focus at the time. Maybe it's good for us as a viewing audience that all other focuses have been suspended, because of level 4 lockdown, and we can see these guys showing renewed focus, because that's ultimately what happened last year when they were dominating. There was nothing else to race. And a guy like Rudy, especially, he rides Killarney and he dominates that, and these guys ride in support of him.
Oh, there we go. Is that the next com? Yeah, Temple com just been taken.
Yeah, but I think Gustavo timed it well there. He might have taken it from Eddie. Even though once again Gustavo doesn't seem to show up on the leaderboard.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's very.
It's the second time that's happened. He doesn't show up on the leaderboards. Okay, well, we'll see if we can pull him on, pull the live hotspots on Zwift Power. If nothing else, it's just going to take a few minutes. But I mean, it looked like he took that comp from Eddie right after Eddie took it, because he let Eddie gap first and then he closed that gap. So technically, he would have done a better time up that climb.
Yeah. What's something that's also worth mentioning about this course, the nature of the descent and obviously having this gravel bit here. If you do find yourself in no man's land or have just fallen off the bunch and you try to get back on, is that you, Quip? Okay. Sorry, I got slightly thrown off.
Welcome to live broadcasting, Aaron Borrell.
I thought my laptop was shutting down.
No.
That's what I thought was happening. But
there's about 6 things happening all at once behind Quibus's hands there. That's why he looks like a piano player when you see him live.
Unbelievable. There's so much resistance on that gravel descent that you actually have to pedal a lot more. There's not going to be the opportunity to super touch.
Sure. On the descent itself, because it looks sharp on the screen. I mean, on the graph itself, it looks like you could get a bit of free time there.
Yeah, I mean, look, gravel, just the resistance doesn't lend itself to the super tuck, but once they get onto, obviously, the more sort of paved surfaces that can benefit from that, obviously, the greater the number within the bunch, the faster they travel. So if the guys behind work a little hard, try and ride together as a bunch, they could potentially catch these two, but at the same time, do they really want to? Judging at the watts that these two are putting out.
It looks like a bit of an unholy alliance going on here at the moment.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Guys, they do not like each other, but there is that rivalry. There's probably a level of respect between the two.
I think so.
Yeah, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. If there's any fault in Gustavo's sort of quiver, so to speak, it's his sprint. He unfortunately doesn't have the kick of Eddie. So if this does come down to the possibility of a race to the line, it's going to be Eddie. But here we go. Yeah, it's come back together quite nicely. And I think we've got Christian in this group as well, which is good. David Bailey, Rick Sorensen, and a few others.
So the 2 Americans there in the mix. And also not the youngest riders, and it's nice to see them jumping up into the top of the pack there. Would be nice to see Van Rensburg catch us 2 up in the front there, and just as you said in the beginning of the broadcast, is just to add some a bit of animation, a bit of color to the race.
Speaking of the name Janse van Rensburg, I saw that Jacques Janse van Rensburg has been very sort of vocal of his Zwift antics of late. He's been working really hard on his racing, and he's now second in the country with a rating of around 90.
Sure.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, that's someone to challenge Eddie. Everyone needs that bit of competition. Healthy competition is good. And to have the experience that Jacques has, and being able to translate that into this realm of digital racing, if you want to call it that, it's fantastic. And to see the enthusiasm that he's showing in this new platform is great.
Well, if I could choose my competition, I would opt to not have any World Tour pros amongst them. But there you go.
I was looking at his Zwift Power profile, and he doesn't need to post anything other than what he's listed there. And it's 2015 South African elite road champion, 3 times Volta España finisher, 2 times Giro d'Italia finisher, a finisher of the Tour de France. And I mean, you don't have to question that.
Yeah, there's some big names being thrown out there.
Proper quality right there.
Yeah.
How many South Africans have done all 3 Grand Tours? We should know this.
I think it's just him and Jaco Venter.
Jaco Venter, yeah.
Surely Hunter as well.
No, I don't think so. Maybe Reinhard Janse van Rensburg as well, but he's still racing as far as I know.
Yeah, he's still racing.
Yeah,
he's still.
But of the two that we've had participate in Masters, Jaco Venter and Jacques have finished all 3 Grand Tours, and just to have that royalty, participating with the boys and girls here, it just does wonders. Just elevates the level of this competition.
Yeah. Well, Master Series, that's what it's aimed at. It brings some quality riders, quality names, and with credible results. So just having a quick look. A long list of years participating at that level, starting out in 2006, Jacques Jansen van Rensburg with Team Konica Minolta. I don't know if any of our viewers remember that kit back in the day. So, and then moving up, raced for MTN Quebec for, I think it was five years, maybe longer, I think 7 years.
Yeah.
So good pedigree.
Quality riders, those two.
Big time.
As we mentioned at the start, there'd be a selection, and I think we've got it here.
Yeah.
Eddie and Gustavo will use this bunch as much as they can, probably to recover. Use the draft effect as much as they can to save their legs, but also the quality on offer within this bunch is of a very, very high level. I actually like Christian to possibly, save a bit and maybe challenge for the win on the final lap. I think of anyone in this bunch who can challenge Eddie, it is Christian, and he showed that. I think it was in the New York City race.
Yes, I was just going to say he has shown that not only once. I think he did that once or twice last year.
Those were some of our best finishes between those two.
Yeah, it was incredible finishes.
Entertaining riding at its best.
And once again, just a great all-round guy. He's one of those riders. You rock up at a race, he's the first guy that will step out of wherever he is to come and say, "How's it?" to the normal person like myself, standing with a microphone in his hand. So I always give a big shout out to Christian because he's always got the time to meet and greet, say how's it, and then get onto the bike and do what he has to do. So well done to Mr. Jansen van Rensburg.
Yep. Humble man, and it's all about the upbringing.
That's it.
Many times before, and the way we were brought up is very different to the way the children are being brought up these days.
Much different.
It's unbelievable, especially in the UK, but we won't get into that.
Well,
please, guys, no, spare us.
Well, don't worry. I almost put my foot in it and saying I hope there's no parents of some of those XCO kids that might be watching this live feed. Man, oh man.
But just so you know, guys, they're not welcome. This is Masters racing. There's no money. There's no money in elites or sub-elites, frankly. Don't scoff at how old our riders are. They can afford to have a fancy trainer and a Zwift subscription. And they all do deal uploads and, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
This is the market you want to target. Ask our sponsors.
There's a nice group just 11 seconds back. And
I can do 11 seconds. More than that, I get lost. But let's go check out these guys.
Well, look at Murray Craig. He's back in this group. Really great guy. Really great rider. Actually, it looks like he's...
No, he's in the front group. No, you're right.
Yeah, he's in the second group.
He's in the second group.
Is Volder also with him there? I'm just trying to have a look.
Oh, that's how he took that sprint. I thought that came up way too quickly. There we go. I think Voldy's got the sprint once again.
Yeah, Uwe Kuter, yeah.
I called that, guys. I'm going to take that.
You can have it. We'll let you have it.
We'll send you a beer across the water, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, we can't. We're not allowed to.
Oh, yes, hold on. We've got complete lockdown again. No bottle stores are open.
It's uncivilized.
No comment. I'm going to switch my microphone off quickly. Yeah, so on board with Murray Crab now. We are 17, well, almost 18 kilometers into race number 6 here. If you've just joined us, welcome to the Masters SA Series, and a massive group of great riders from all over the world, and some of the best South African talent, multiple champions in the mix at the moment, as man behind the scenes, Cobus Potgieter, doing wonders of trying to catch all the race action. On board now with David Garrett, the team leader of RDX.
This is a great bunch of guys we got here, and they can definitely chase that down. Or is this the third group?
No, this is the second group.
This is the second group.
Yes.
I mean,
It looks like they've broken up a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth noting for the guys that are watching. You know, there are a lot of guys out there that have, you know, that look at things like power and heart rate. They don't realize that it's individualized. Everyone's different. And Cobus was on Murray Crave earlier. He was doing around 350 watts at 142 BPM. Those people, anyone questioning that should realize that Murray probably maxes. His max heart rate is a lot lower than some of the younger guys. As you get older, it drops. If you're looking at David now as well, I mean, just under 300, 155.
Yeah.
So Murray is one of my best technical resources. He's an academic, so his level of scrutiny and detail is absolutely astonishing. If he were one of those guys cheating, he certainly had the wool over my eyes, that's for sure. But he's obsessed with this stuff, and one of the guys, well, probably the guy that helps out the most in terms of understanding Zwift, understanding the phenomena we do see, and he actually assists a bit in the data analysis that we do.
I'd like to get Murray in on this panel, 1 week, even if it's the last race and we do an extended studio wrap-up talk afterwards.
He'll just talk your ears off your head, eh? That's just, he's got so much to say. His knowledge base is incredible.
I met Murray through a back and forth Strava.com hunt in Sedgefield.
Oh, nice.
Back in 2015, when he was still living in Sedgefield. I took his com, and I could only go back and get it once a year when the family went on holiday. And I kept taking it from him. And he was like, look, do you want to meet up? And we rode up to the Garden Trail Park in Karatra, had a cup of coffee, and we're talking all things cycling, and as you mentioned, Cobus, he's a wealth of knowledge. Not only is he a wealth of knowledge, humble man, can talk on any subject in depth. He doesn't know a little about a lot. He knows a lot about everything.
Everything, yeah.
Absolutely. He reads. I mean, this guy reads like you wouldn't believe.
And a phenomenal cyclist as
He's
well.
got more hours in a day than I do.
and now based in Hermanus. So great part of the world to go and live in if you a cyclist. Himal Arda Valley provides some amazing riding.
Needless to say, my com is safe until someone else discovers it.
No.
Murray,
I've got you on Strava. I'm just going to go find it.
don't go take it, Murray, please.
Sorry, Poppy hasn't protected you there.
Poppy schmoppy, let's get on with the show.
Oh, guys, we better send out those forms, eh?
Yeah, listen, I spent 6 hours in training yesterday. I don't want to go through that.
Eddie, once again, targeting the com.
Yeah.
Putting on a masterclass, showing what he's capable of. Dropped the power quite a bit now. He's obviously gone through that com already. Gustavo, Christian, David Bailey, Marino, a name that we've obviously seen a couple of weeks ago. He's always up there. He's in the mix. Actually raced against him on Monday night in the Danish Racing League. Really strong rider, able to put in multiple accelerations on a climb to bridge gaps. It's a technique I've been seeing a lot of lately in Zwift. If guys are going up a climb and it's a steady gradient and any gaps form, they'll put in a microburst, which is just a flurry of watts, which can help them sort of bridge the gap. Wouldn't say it's that realistic, but it's obviously riders exploiting the algorithm and the in-game nuances. After all, this is a game, but we've seen a lot more of that sort of microburst style of riding. Wouldn't say I'm a fan of it, but if everyone's doing it,
I'm not sure. Okay, again, sorry, I'll have to defer to Murray on this. But I guess Zwift could be held responsible to compensate for this. But if I understand it correctly from my conversation with Murray, it's not actually as we use visuals for some reason.
Yeah, we've lost visuals.
Sorry, guys, I'm working on it. It's not actually a Zwift issue per se. It's a stationary trainer issue where you can overwhelm your flywheel with a torquey effort. And because power is torque times cadence, if you overwhelm the flywheel, you get that quick interval where
kind of it holds onto it for a bit.
Yes. So the power reading is there, and the funny thing is even your power meter would
picks up the same thing. Yes.
Would pick up exactly the same thing because it's using the same math as your trainer to calculate your power. But guys, I don't know what the heck is happening here. As we heard, Zwift is buggy.
Yeah, and anything can happen. As I said last night, I had a gremlin in the system as well. There we go, back up and running again.
So there's one view that's working, and that's this one. I can't get any of the other views. Okay, this one works as well. This is not the one I can control. Wow. Okay. Zwift, if you're watching.
Yeah, but Quobus, I did hear that there are going to be some kind of, wouldn't call them algorithms, but Zwift is looking at that type of thing. Zwift Power as well can pick that up if the trainers or power meters. It's actually seen more from riders who use their power meters, the primary.
Yes.
Watt a little bit more, and they call it sticky watts. And Zwift Power actually has a built-in AI that can flag that. We've actually seen it on some guys who live stream their events. There was some chap from Wahoo Lacole who was putting in sprints of 800 watts, and it was holding the power for 5 seconds, and he was freewheeling up climbs, which was absolutely ridiculous. But
so while we bad-mouthing non-sponsored trainers, wasn't there a time when the Cyclops hammer was popular for exactly that exploit?
Sticky watts, that's what they call it. So they call it sticky because it holds onto the power. And even as it incrementally drops, you'll find certain trainers, actually the elite trainers, it actually drops the power almost instantly. So if you're going over a crest onto a long descent, you can put in a little bit of a sprint, pop the power up to 600, 700 watts on the elite Duretto X, XR, whatever you want to call it, and the power will drop super tuck. What some of these other trainers do is when you have put in that surge of power and it goes to 700 watts, the drop-off is staggered. So it goes 700, 680, 650.
Sure. Well, that sounds great. I'd love to bank my watts.
What these guys are doing are exploiting those little black holes, if you want to call it. But the AI in Zwift Power has picked it up, and a lot of riders are getting flagged as sticky watts riders.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic to handle from Zwift's perspective as well, because I'd argue it's an exploit. It's not a cheat per se, because I was pedaling my bike, and that's the reading I got. And Zwift, despite the fact that they're not trying to build their own trainer, as per the jobs they've been advertising for. They need to manage that relationship with their partners, which are the trainer manufacturers, the likes of Elite, Tex, and Wahoo. That's an interesting situation. But I think I like that this is being discussed and that we're getting there, and that Zwift Power at the very least can start to identify the issue and maybe not in all instances, but at the highest level, certainly you need to start trying to control for that kind of thing.
One of the easiest ways of sort of spotting out someone who you think is suspect is just going through their Zwift Power data and just looking at their heart rate metrics. And if you see fluctuations based on performances that you think are questionable. I mean, you can go back and see that a guy who was riding at 4.2 watts a kilogram for, in a race was averaging 172, and then 3 weeks later he averaged 5.5, at 140. I mean, there's, was he exploiting the sticky watt phenomenon? What is he doing? As we said, Cobus, we know that these bunch of guys racing here, we all know them in real life. We're given the opportunity to race here. We trust them. Those that are sort of coming first, second, third will be put through some kind of verification process.
Yeah.
So the onus is on them. If you want to go out there and cheat, you're only fooling yourself.
Absolutely.
Putting their bodies on the line, to do well, to improve their fitness, improve their aerobic capacity, to have someone who's deliberately cranking up the wattage or doing whatever he's doing with his programming degree or whatever, because there are guys out there, or if he's controlling with his PS5 controller,
It sounds like you've been watching Keith Wakeman's YouTube channel. I'm sure he and Murray would have a great time. No, you're right, absolutely. So I mean, thank you for segueing into that. Notices have gone out, and like I mentioned last week, we've had to put a hold on physical verifications because I can't, responsibly, I suppose, under the circumstances, send the stranger into someone's house. Thank you to the Practice SA, who I will pop on screen right now, our verification partner, who are helping us to broaden our footprint beyond just Cape Town and outlying areas, for assisting us in these, in the rest of the country where they have a huge footprint, and the notices have gone out to all of our top riders that verification is pending. Unfortunately, lockdown isn't allowing it at the moment, but we'll get back in touch with you guys, and we're trying to keep the process as transparent as possible, especially when we're engaging with these top level guys. They're very well informed. They've got teams backing them up. There's quite a bit of to and fro, and it's I guess it's a learning process for us as well. But we're trying to keep it as transparent as possible, and just have everyone understand that this is all about ensuring credibility. And ultimately, we hope that for our top level riders, and I mean, let's be honest, everyone has got something to say, especially from riders who they might not know, not aware of. Suddenly, this guy's beating me on Zwift, and I've never heard of him. If you pass our verification, you're welcome to use that, as sort of a stamp of approval going forward, and and hopefully that'll clear the air from that perspective. And it is going to be quite rigorous because, again, like I mentioned, we have the benefit of being able to send a coach and ensuring that I find that, like you mentioned, if you've got a programming degree, Aaron, I guess you can manipulate. We've seen Keith Wakeman do this, build an N+ simulator and neatly demonstrate how to manipulate the output of your power meter, feeding the feed into your simulator first, and having it manipulated through that little program. So if we can control for those situations, something which I guess the Zwift Premier League can't necessarily. So frankly, I feel once we verified you, those guys should see that as a very credible verification to be used going forward.
Yeah, 100% agree with that, and it's a great measure to have in place, and to have those guys, at hand to be able to carry that out is very impressive. Yes.
Thank you, guys. We look forward to working with you. Unfortunately, it's been put on ice for the moment, but we've been in touch, and we'll get it going as soon as we're allowed. Unfortunately, we won't be able to release prizes up until that point. So similar to the doping test, I guess, at the end of this, if you've won a stage of the Tour de France. But we'll get there as quickly as we can.
So Sean, are you going to pose the question?
Yes,
it is time.
It is time. Yeah, let's throw some calls out there. I still like the man that we focused on at the moment. One of my favorite riders. So I'm going to leave it up to you, Aaron. It's your call tonight. I have a feeling I know who you're going to call, but for our viewers at home, give us some names there.
Yeah, we've seen two guys there all night. And
Yeah, I mean they've gone 1 and 2 on the comms twice.
very, it would be foolish of me to not mention one of them. But at the same time, I do want to see other guys, sort of excel and change things up, just so that we get more of a variety of rider and winner here. Christian is in the bunch. Has he been saving himself? Is he going to sort of lay down, the power that we know he's capable of on the final ascent up the climb? Can he do that? Yes, he can. Is he going to do that? I don't know. Based on historical data and what we've seen over the past few weeks, I'm going to call Eddie Hull. I think I'd be foolish not to. He's just shown his all-round ability and how well he knows the platform of Zwift. He's got a very measured approach. He does a lot of testing during the week, not just against other riders, but on the courses themselves.
Yeah.
He's got a really good sprint as well. So I'm going to call Eddie, but at the same time, I won't be surprised if Christian finishes top 3 today.
What we know, we're just saying now, we know that in the past, Christian can hold back and reserve himself until the right moment. He did that famously last year, so it would be very cool to see that happen again. Kobus, you've got that smile on your face. You've got something up your sleeve. What's happening?
No, I hope Christian's got something up his sleeve. He's Zwifting from the office instead of home for the first time today. And Christian is incredibly heat adapted. I've never seen anything like it. And if you go up against him, I don't care if it's a 361 or the local stop street sprint or the epic. If it is 45 degrees out there, Christian will destroy you. He simply doesn't suffer that same heat penalty or handicap that the rest of us do. But he is in the office today, so I'm hoping he switches on the aircon. Christian, if you're listening, switch on the bloody aircon. And see if that gives him some kind of an edge, because he Zwifts in the living room, chatting to his wife, and it's hot in there. No fan, nothing. So I'm hoping if he uses the air conditioning in the office where he's sitting, he can get a bit of an edge for a change.
Looking at the live data, Eddie Hull is currently, for the 30Ks they've done, he's averaging 5 watts a kilogram, 312 watts, and Christian is averaging 4.8 watts a kilogram. So Eddie, we know, did go for those 2 comms and put in some really big efforts, but at the same time, Christian has held back. He's conserved his legs a bit. That 0.2 is massive. There are a lot of people out there that will think, 0.2 is nothing. To gain an extra 0.2 watts per kilogram, could even take up to a year or a season for a rider. In the greater context. But
yes.
0.2, I mean, 0.2, it's in this particular context is also a lot. He has saved his legs, so let's hope he does do something on this final climb.
All right, Kobus, give us a name there.
Christian. Christian van Rensburg. Even though he's just let me know that the air conditioning is off and sent me a picture.
Come on, put it on.
Okay, so there's two shout outs for Christian. So going to be interesting to see. No pressure, Christian. No pressure.
Well, I mean, you alluded to it earlier, Aaron. It's particularly true in mountain biking, but certainly in road cycling as well, where tactics play a role. If you are very technical in mountain biking, you can get over the same climb at the same speed using fewer watts than your opponent. And the same thing goes in road cycling. If you know how to use the draft, take the inside line, move forward precisely when you need to, so you around corners, so you don't need to put that kick down. And ultimately, what you'll find is your normalized power is a lot lower than the next guy, ending up at exactly the same spot. So Eddie and Christian are in exactly the same spot at the moment. with Christian having done less of an effort. So maybe he'll have something in the tank. And his heart rate was quite low hitting this climb now, as the climb starts.
Yeah.
He can also run quite hot. Although, there's an attack already. Who is flying off the front there? That's Rick Sorensen.
And Eddie is following suit, it seems. This, I mean, if Christian were to want to do well in this race, he's going to have to follow this move.
Yeah, absolutely.
To follow these
Yes.
guys.
He's going to have to chase now.
Yeah.
I have trouble following a move. Yeah, they're still together by the looks of things. See if I can get a... It's my Eddie view. Okay. Sorry about the limited camera angles, guys. These are the only views that are working today. At least we'll be able to see who crosses the line first. This is the first person view from Eddie Hull's perspective, trying to chase down Gustavo. This is a nice view, actually.
Yeah, this is a nice one. Gustavo riding at 8, was it 7? Yeah, orange numbers shown there for a bit, which would suggest he was riding at over 8 watts a kilogram. Massive power. There again, another acceleration. This might be those microbursts I was talking about, using it to his advantage.
Are you accusing Gustavo of exploiting?
Gustavo of anything. I'm a big fan of Uruguay ride.
You're just speculating.
Just remember, Aaron,
In that constant
the
orange.
curse of the commentator. Remember, it is live and it is on Facebook. It is everywhere right now. So watch what you say.
Look, I'll take on other broadcasters, you know, and I'm going to equate our little team to other broadcasters like GCN or Supersport. I was astounded when Pogacar put in that massive performance on the and not the time trial, but the subsequent mountain stage.
Yes.
At how Ant McCrossan and Simon Gerrans, you know, remained perfectly neutral. However, the GCN team were essentially alluding to nobody's put in such a dominant performance since Armstrong, you know, kind of awestruck, kind of incredulous, to be frank, at Pogacar's performance. I guess we can try and do better, although, I don't know, is Gustavo watching our live stream? He might be.
He might be.
I mean, we've just seen it again. I'm just observing here. I'm not saying he's doing what he's doing, but when you're seeing white numbers and then every few seconds orange numbers, you know,
but I mean, yeah, we do know that. Is it only that phenomenon that you've described? Because it has felt to me that, you know, if I get dropped from a bunch, a short hard effort does bring me back, you know, which it really wouldn't really do in real life. And I don't have one of those exploitable trainers. I've got one with a very, very heavy flywheel.
Yeah. The Elite Director XR has a heavy one. It was a 5 kilogram flywheel with not unwinding that thing up. But at the same time, if you're not in the Zwift Racing League, the Premier Division, it is a prerequisite to ride with your Turbo Smart Trainer as the primary and the power pedals or whatever power meter you're using as a secondary for the recording.
Okay.
Any other racing doesn't require that. So a lot of the guys automatically switch to power meter as the primary, just because it's more responsive. And it actually helps more not getting dropped on a descent.
That's interesting.
Because although the trainers do drop off more, the power meter can go to, depending on what power meter, usually your pedal-based power meters drop to 0 almost instantly.
Sure.
Yes, that's interesting.
Well, talking about trainers, guys, Elite. Well, let's talk a little bit more about them before we run out of time. One of our lucky participants over the course of the series is going to walk home with a brand new Elite Scooter, a great product. And I know I always do this to Kobus. He's scrambling around to bring that up onto your screen.
I'm prepared.
Look at that. Well, there we go. Up on your screen at the moment. How cool is that? a smart trainer valued at 18,000 Rand. It is super cool. I spent some time with them last week. That little trainer folds away. It's perfectly compatible if you're living in a very small space, or if your training area is small. That thing folds away. It's accurate. It delivers the goods on time. And a big thanks to the guys from N Squared for such a very cool prize at the end of the season. Cannot wait for that handover. That's always the exciting part.
Yes, that's so much fun. Forcing Anthony to push the button reluctantly. Yeah. And then he always pushes it before the countdown is finished.
Yeah.
I love this trainer. Well, my favorite feature is how it collapses into such a small size. You can just check it in the car and take it with you. You know, my wife and I had a trip to Hermanus recently, and it's so nice to actually, we're gonna check the trainer. Yeah, why not? You know, check the trainer, do a couple of Zwift rides in case it's rainy. So that's a really nice feature.
Super slim and a lot lighter than most other trainers that are out in the market at the moment. So one of our riders, one of the participants that's right here with us this evening, is going to walk away with that very awesome prize in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to stick around for that. Of course, Power Bar, you see the young gentleman at the bottom end of your screen. He always wears that very cool Power Bar cap. Just a side note, myself and Kobus both starting to get a little bit thin at the top. And Trevor, where are those caps? No, I'm only joking. Such a cool product. I trained on it back in 2016 when I was still riding proper. Well, I thought I could ride proper, but that was one of the products I used. And I know a lot of the guys on the RDX team, I see at all the events that I see them at, that Power Bar is everywhere. So Trevor, the big guy from Power Bar, well done to you in trying times. You've been on board right from the beginning. And Kobus, do you want to run through that, the discount codes and things like that now while we still got time?
Yeah, let's do that quickly before the guys get to the top of this climb, approaching rapidly. So first off, we've got Power Bar. You can get a 15% discount at checkout using the code RDX Cycling. So just go do your shopping, and as you checking out to pay, add that code as a payment method, and you'll get 15% off. Like I mentioned, I tried this myself, and I ordered on the Friday, it arrived the Monday. Great service, thanks Trevor. You guys are in a very slick ship. So use the code, and through that, Trevor will see the volume and continue supporting us. So you'll support us as well by using these discount codes. Our next sponsor, the Vermaak you see on screen. This is a company called Bicycle Gear. They are the local distributors. They make incredibly cool kit used by the likes of Quickstep, amongst others. So Vermaak, so get in touch. Go on to bicyclegear.co.za and use the discount code #RDX Cycling to get a 10% discount at checkout. And finally, this is the one I'm going to punt hardest. If you want to get into this and race with us, go get yourself an elite trainer. N Squared website. You can get yourself a Diretto XR, a Suto, or a Tuo, the so-called toaster trainer, wheel-on trainer. All of them excellent trainers. And using the code MastersSA10 at checkout, you will get a 10% discount, which last time I checked is the best deal on a Suto T in particular in the market that I'm aware of.
Certainly is.
And free delivery nationwide. So go to nsquare.co.za. They are the local distributors. Thank you, Anthony, for this, and support us by using our discount code at checkout, and get yourself a nice deal, one of these very, very nice trainers, and join us for the next series.
Yeah, and get yourself the best.
Absolutely.
Talking about very cool sponsors, Ubiquiti, you'll see them up in the top corner of your screen before we get to very close to where the action is going to start happening. Ubiquiti and Yaku and the team coming on board with the main prize for this year in terms of Rand value, if I'm not mistaken. Kobus, I'm going to let you take over there. That's your domain.
Yes. So 15 grand prize for our winning gent and 5 grand prize for our winning lady. So it's the first time we're offering. I mean, previously we had sweeteners, I guess, for the guys winning the races. But given that we've decided to really broaden the net in terms of verification, we decided we can do chunky prizes, and our sponsors came to the party, particularly with big prizes for our overall winners, given that we feel the results would be credible. So, we didn't want to, our concern initially was cheats, as we've chatted about. May put a big number on it and you're going to see half the country pitching with their N Plus simulators. And now that we feel that we've got a credible verification process, we can, and our sponsors are willing, we can offer a prize as nice as our grand lucky draw prize to our overall winner, and also a really nice $5,000 prize jewelry voucher for our winning lady as well. So thank you to Uvakutta, thank you Yaku. You've been phenomenal support, both in terms of sponsorship and at the back end of building this website and just marketing the thing
cool
a heck of a lot better. Thanks a lot.
Guys, something worth mentioning, and it obviously holds true with the commentary you've been doing with the car simulation, Sean. Ashley Oldfield is racing tonight. He's back in the
Yes.
Really good, skillful mountain biker, and the first and only winner of Nissan GT Academy. So
yes, that's right.
Through a series of events, real life karting, racing, simulation, and getting them through, translating that into the real world. And actually, he raced for a year and a bit as a professional racing car driver. So of all the guys out there, Ashley Oldfield knows exactly what the simulation racing can do and how it can sort of translate into real life.
Yeah.
Academy as well. So it's great having someone like Ashley also taking part in the series, and to have the winner, the first and only winner of the Nissan GT Academy with us tonight. Awesome. Good work, Ashley.
And that's the growth of sim racing, and of course spurred on by a world pandemic that's happening right now. If you've just joined us, you're right at the end of what has been a fantastic race again. Just worthwhile mentioning the name down at the bottom, Cape Multisport. Well, that's Kobus himself. He's the representative of Cape Multisport, also on board. Thank you very much to you guys. And of course, all the guys in the background before we end off this race. Kobus, thanks for putting on a great stream every single week. And of course, to our consultant from England. You see, we're so international that we get the guys from London to join us. Aaron Borrell, thanks for joining us again. As always, your input is extremely valuable. I've learned a lot over the last 6 races from you. Thank you very much. And it really is a privilege to be spending a Wednesday evening with the two of you, and of course all our amazing riders and great sponsors.
Thanks, Sean. It's a great time of the week. I know there are a lot of guys around me going on about this term they talk about that's coming home, which is really annoying. As a man who holds an Italian passport, I hope it's coming Rome.
So do I actually, but I don't have that passport. Maybe we should get married.
In the final, and tonight apparently England have won. That's what I'm being told by everyone around me. So they keep talking about something that's coming home.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
if only English fans were easier to love.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to sport, They're partisan, without a doubt.
Well, I think that's part of why GCN was calling incredulous. They don't like Team Ineos being showed up,
Exactly.
They see that. I mean, that is effectively the British cycling team.
Well, you'll even find the feed, the GCN feed and the Eurosport feed is a British feed. If you go onto a different channel for the same cycling, you'll see the Spanish feed, and the guys are focusing on Vincenzo Nibali, etc. You'll never see Vincenzo or Alessandro Valverde in a race at all unless they're going for the win. Otherwise, they're just focused on Tao Geoghegan-Hart and whatever else they think are going to win. But here we are.
Yeah, as much as I love Tom Pidcock, I almost resent that the guys were calling him as the new Wout van Aert before it was happening.
Let's not get into that this week. I think about next week.
We all
Yeah.
love to hate the English, but you
Yes,
live amongst them, Aaron.
Oh, he's already won the Olympic gold, Quibbles, with the broken.
Of course, yes.
No, it's coming home. That's also coming home.
It's
apparently.
also coming home.
It was never there to begin with, but it's coming home.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to that third tier international footballing nation
Let's see what happens tonight.
that
But
have only won one major trophy in their entire history under dubious circumstances
no,
at
that was
home.
in 66 or something. Yes. 100 years ago or something. Like that.
After both Western Germany and Argentina were cheated. But anyway, let me not show my partisanship here.
Closing stages of the race. Gustavo
Yeah.
14 seconds on Eddie, but Eddie, you can never rule him out yet. What is about 2Ks out? Can you bring this back, Eddie? Or
He's not going to bring it back. I'm calling it.
you're going to go with Gustavo?
Gustavo's going to take this. Gustavo has that skill on a downhill, it seems, where he
Gustavo
can.
doesn't have a sprint though.
Well, there's no sprint here. He's got a gap.
Got a
He's
gap.
chicken.
Has that come down? Okay, no, it's still 14. Okay,
Gonna
it's
check
still
in on.
14.
See if we can get this flyby to work.
Oh, that's massive heart rate. 191. Unreal.
Yeah.
He is trying really hard.
Yeah, that is a massive heart rate. Jeez.
Okay, so he's definitely in the red. It's been a measured sort of race by Gustavo. We knew we'd see something like this. We knew that he would challenge Eddie on the comms, and he's not afraid of going for these breakaways or going off the front. And he's proved to everyone that he can sustain it. He's not a flash in the pan. He's not someone that easily explodes. Can Eddie bring it back? No. 18 seconds now. I think he knows he's got it, and he's actually dropped the watts per kilo. Has he actually won?
Not yet.
So he's dropped that quite substantially then. I think he thinks it's
Yeah.
in the bag.
Heart rate also all the way down.
It would be hilarious. Okay, so at the end of the sprint is where the finish is. So I'm just.
Yeah, he knows he's got it.
Yeah, no, he does have it. He does have it.
Yeah, he's obviously jumped
There we
jumped
go.
off the
Okay.
gas. Yeah, there
Well
we go.
done, Gustavo. Sorry, guys, I've switched away before the race was over. Because if I'm on a rider and the race finishes, I lose my ability to move around. So well done to Gustavo and Eddie, second place. Looks like Christian in third. Now I'm gonna try to get onto our leading lady Bets. If you guys will give me a moment.
Yeah, something that was growing quite nicely last year, and we've lost quite a bit of those amazing ladies that we had with us last year. And I thought we would have grown it considerably, which we haven't.
No, we do have more. We certainly have more, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess we were hoping for a better turnout, definitely.
Yeah.
Guys, I predicted an hour of racing and I was right.
Well
Yeah,
done.
spot on.
Wow, you couldn't have been more right if you tried. Okay, we are on board with Ina Mejli, our second lady in the overall standings. She is halfway up the climb.
Yeah, she hasn't yet reached the final ascent of the gravel climb, so she's still got a fair way to go. But just staying in control of your pedal strokes, working on your breathing, these are all ways to bring that heart rate down and just get into a better rhythm.
Well, she seems to be alone in the lead, so there's no pressure at the moment. She's competitive, this one. She does keep an eye on them. I'm sure she's she realizes she's away solo and just finishing off her race now. So well done to Ina. I think she's taking. That means she'll probably go into the pink jersey, because she's only 1 point behind Bets at this stage. So if she takes this evening, Bets doesn't come second, she'll draw ahead and retake the Maglia Rosa. Very nice. Okay, thanks a lot, gents. That was an exciting race, in exactly an hour, as Aaron Burrell predicted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 hour, 1 minute, and 27 seconds.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well done to all our riders that are. I mean, a lot of the guys tune in as well. Thanks for joining us on the live feed. Of course, to the viewers that are out there, thank you for spending your Wednesday evening. It's an hour out of your time, 1 hour and 15 minutes. What was it, Aaron? You just mentioned now it was just over an hour.
Just over an hour.
Just over an hour. Thank you for spending with us. And yeah, thanks to all our amazing sponsors, and thanks to the panel of commentators that I have around me that bring their part to an amazing race that is Masters SA. And this is the Winter Series, and race number 6 is in the bag. We cannot wait for next week, and we'll catch up with you then. For myself, Sean, yeah, it's a nice long weekend. Well, not a long weekend, but we don't have long to get to the weekend. And I hope you're going to be on your trainers, or if there's no rain in Cape Town, hopefully you're going to be on your bicycles. To the guys that are in London, I hope your weather's okay, that you can go ride your bike.
Yeah, it's not bad, Sean. We've had a spell of rain, but the temperatures are warm, which is good. I just don't like riding in -5.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me on the panel. It's always great to sort of chat with you guys and, just have a bit of fun on a Wednesday. And more importantly, thanks to the sponsors and the riders, because without them, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We just
Absolutely.
Japanese scenery and warthogs.
Yes.
But, always good catching up and chatting all things cycling and esports related, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Likewise. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Aaron Burrell. Appreciate it.
Guys.
Have a great evening.